The aftermath of the horrible killing of Charlie Kirk has meant that the Republican far-right administration is looking for a way to further justify its crackdown on civil liberties and people's constitutional protections in this country. They have used non-existent crime statistics in terms of like they're claiming there's this insane amount of crime in blue cities, all of them, you know, coincidentally run by black people, black mayors that they've been targeting. Lately, it appears like they're going after Memphis now because there's a Republican governor there. So they have less of a problem with the courts.
They backed down from Chicago.
They backed down from Chicago. Pritzker is going to be able to boast about that, and he should be able to, because that was a really strong show of opposition to the Trump administration. It seems like the lawyers, whoever can get through to the folks in the White House, are trying to say, like, if we keep going over the blue state governor's objections, we're going to have a bit of a hard time. So let's just try blue city, red state, okay? But they're constantly testing the bounds of our legal system, of our Constitution. And they need inciting events to do so, or it makes their case, in the ways that a fascist would think, stronger. So there is this rush to ignore evidence about who this shooter was, hide evidence potentially, because we still don't know. Like, you have government officials calling him a leftist, and we've seen zero evidence of that being the case. None. We haven't seen evidence of his ideology whatsoever, basically. And we heard Kash Patel on Fox and Friends saying his manifesto was destroyed, but don't worry, the Kash Patel-run FBI is going to be able to digitally recreate it, so we'll know actually his true motivations. I mean, that's when I get conspiratorial. And I am curious as to how the government's claims are going to hold up in court, given how everything they're saying publicly and how motivated their reasoning is. But the most concerning element is this crackdown on free speech that they're touting. We have teachers in Florida and in Texas who, according to reports from this morning, are going to be subject of investigations by their state governments over what they said about Charlie Kirk's death. And now this is what the federal government is saying about what they plan to do.
I know, look, I make my living with the First Amendment, Madam Attorney General. You passionately believe in and support the First Amendment. There are certain things you cannot do. You cannot cry fire or scream fire in a crowded theater. You cannot make terroristic threats against individuals. I believe that law was broken with doxing of Supreme Court justices and people that work ICE agents, for example. I think we are right there on that line, and I think some of those people have crossed it and probably should be prosecuted. But you also are watching and reading and hearing, you know, this never-ending, you know, celebration of the left. We saw it with the United Healthcare CEO and the praise of Luigi Mangione. And
so can you pause it for a second? I thought when I heard this question by Hannity, he was going to be like, on one hand, you have the ways I think are justified to crack down on free speech. No shouting in fire in a crowded theater.
Which I have to say, people always bring that up, but that quote was in the context of going after anti-war protesters who were supposedly the ones yelling fire. And I know Sam likes to use that one too, but the actual time that a judge said that, it was when we were throwing people against the World War I in prison for opposing it. So that even that one is not, it wasn't like actually someone was yelling fire in crowded theaters and making panics happen. That wasn't actually happening.
It's a colloquialism about, I guess, free speech law. I understand that. But I mean, even the other examples that he cites about the doxing of Supreme Court justices, basically, where it seems like he's about to say, but does this go too far? No, he's saying, here's further evidence of why you, as the top law enforcement official in the country, Pam Bondi, should be cracking down on the left.
It is evil, it is dark, it is sick, it is incomprehensible. Are there any, where does it become a legal issue?
There we go.
From your vantage point as Attorney General?
Well, sure, we all believe in the First Amendment, and these people speak horrible things. I think yesterday or today, Sean, a school board member right here in Virginia had to resign because she said horrible things about Charlie Kirk and that he deserved to die. That's horrific. It's free speech, but you shouldn't be employed anywhere if you're going to say that. And employers, you have an obligation to get rid of people. You need to look at people who are saying horrible things, and they shouldn't be working with you. Businesses cannot discriminate. If you want to go in and print.
Again, I know that the Democrats aren't going to go on offense about this, but it is true that conservatives have been fired for the heinous things that they often say that puts them at odds with, like, this is going to come back around on y'all. It is going, like, this will rebound in a way that people don't like, but.
Dot Heffron is the Chesterfield school board member from Virginia that is being referenced here. And this was because Libs of TikTok, which is a doxing account, as Sean Hannity pretends to care about doxing. Libs of TikTok, which has targeted numerous trans and LGBTQ teachers throughout the country by doxing them, as well as just like random people to direct hate towards them. That's who they're referencing. And I want to find the exact post that is being referred to here, but let's just go back 10 seconds or so and let her, finish this.
You have an obligation to get rid of people. You need to look at people who are saying horrible things, and they shouldn't be working with you. Businesses cannot discriminate. If you want to go in and print posters with Charlie's pictures on them for a vigil, you have to let them do that. We can prosecute you for that. I have Harmeet Dillon right now in our civil rights unit looking at that immediately, that Office Depot had done that. We're looking at that. But Sean, they thought they could silence Charlie. All of this chatter, all of this hate, they couldn't silence Charlie. What they've done is they have created an army of people. I think millions of young people are coming out of the woodwork now. And I think we're going to see a lot of young women as well being very vocal.
Yeah.
Feminism.
That's what he's going to inspire there. So apparently Heffron on a private Instagram account posted, "Call me old-fashioned, but I remember when we used to be okay with shooting Nazis," and immediately Dot Heffron was forced to resign after Glenn Youngkin forced her to. And this is, a private Instagram account. I get it. That makes sense. But this is the one example that they're citing to crack down on free speech more broadly. And asking companies to fire employees and having the federal government say that's a new low.
Charlie Kirk said that the guy who bashed Nancy Pelosi's husband head with a hammer should be bailed out by a patriot. So, yeah, she shouldn't have said that we should be okay with shooting Nazis because we don't support vigilantism in this country. It's not good just to have just to deputize random people to kill people.
Yeah, and it's just amazing that they're going to try to make this, extend this the life
left
of this story and making it about the left into broader First Amendment crackdowns, where I do wonder, as we get more data on this and we see how the Trump administration is becoming increasingly unpopular due to its immigration actions, and as the economy begins to sort of collapse and prices are at the highest they've been in quite a while on things like groceries, and the tariffs are just going to make that worse. How this translates with regular people, because it may activate their base for a short period of time, but even Donald Trump doesn't remember or care that Charlie Kirk is dead. He was golfing over the weekend when it was his vigil. He was asked about it when he was about to board Air Force One, Charlie Kirk's death, and this was days ago, so even less time than when we're recording this. And he moved on to the construction of the White House ballroom. How are they going to use this to justify further free speech crackdowns when the guy in charge can't even remember or care about Charlie Kirk, probably because he criticized him one time and he wrote him off? It's unbelievable. All right, guys, we're going to read some IMs and get out of here. Sorry, no more time for calls. Madge, so bakers can refuse to make a gay wedding cake, but folks at Office Depot are required to make pro-Nazi posters?
That's what I'm saying. If I was a conservative with a long-term view of these things, I'd say there's a reason that we were arguing against hate speech and forcing people to like bake our cakes. I don't know.
Otter, what about my religious freedom to not spread hate by printing posters honoring a hate spreader? Mike from Texas, the best thing the left can do to commemorate Charlie is to keep quoting his own words and share his videos. They seem to hate that the most.
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.